Hello and welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines this Friday evening as the local election results come in. Seats turn red in Sussex as Labour takes Worthing and Crawley from the Tories, who also lose control of councils in Kent.
People have felt appalled by the National Conservative Party and have said that they will never vote Conservative again because they believe in what we're doing locally.
Yes, support for the Conservatives in our region falters as voters in traditional true blue heartlands deliver a message to the government here at Westminster.
What else are we talking about tonight? A different kind of clear out. Why now is the perfect time to sort out your clutter.
And in sport, the 25-year-old archer who has a World Cup medal in her sights.
Good evening. The biggest political test of the year is one the Conservatives will want to forget. The Tories have lost seats and councils too. And in the Meridian region, some true blue towns and cities are looking a lot paler this evening.
Well, Labour has won some key battlegrounds across the south, but the opposition's performance has been described as modest overall. The Lib Dems have also capitalised on Conservative losses, with the Greens and independent candidates also gaining seats.
Well, these were council elections to decide who runs local services, from libraries to planning, bin collections to potholes. Not all councils were up for election, but it seems where voting did take place, people have taken other issues into account, including the cost of living crisis and Partygate.
In a moment, we'll get the picture across the region. First, though, to Downing Street and our reporter, Kit Bradshaw. We can talk to him now. Kit, it's been a long day of counting. What lessons, though, for the politicians tonight?
Well, the picture has gradually been painted throughout the day as more and more councils have declared their results, and it's not a pretty picture for the Conservatives. They've lost more than 300 council seats across England, and while some in the party don't think that's as bad as they were expecting, if you focus in on the south, their drop in Tory support is far more pronounced. They've lost control of councils in Southampton, Worthing, Wokingham and Maidstone. And now the Conservatives can take some comfort from advancing their control of councils in South Essex like Thurrock, but Boris Johnson's opponents are celebrating their success, while the Prime Minister says he's getting on with the job.
This has been a tough night for Conservatives in some parts of the country, and in other parts of the country we're actually moving forward. And so for midterm, it's quite interesting that it's a mixed set of results.
This is a massive turning point for the Labour Party. From the depths of 2019, we're back on track now for the general election, showing what the change that we've done, the hard change we've done in the last 2 years, what a difference it has made.
This looks like a historic night for the Liberal Democrats. We're taking seats in Tory heartlands, here in Wimbledon, in what I've often called the Blue Wall seats, but also in rural areas, West Oxfordshire, seats that we hope the next general election we can gain.
Well, Kit, of course, these were local elections, but as we heard there, the party leaders very keen to draw national conclusions.
Yes, despite this being an election to elect the local politicians who decide things like bin collections and planning applications, people will be looking at anything they can analyse on these results for the popular support of the parties across the country. And of course, people vote for many reasons. What impact did the government's handling of the coronavirus pandemic have on which party they supported? The dire economic news in recent weeks and the rising cost of living, did that affect which party people lent their vote to? And of course, what impact did Boris Johnson's fine from the police for a rule-breaking party in the building behind me have on how some people voted? Whatever the reasons, the results across the country show strong Lib Dem advances too for Labour and the Greens, and also Conservative support seemingly more resilient in the north than in traditional heartlands here in the south.
OK, Kit, in Downing Street, thank you.
Right, let's take a closer look at some local election results from around the region. We'll be in Worthing and Crawley, but first to Tunbridge Wells and Tony Green, where the count took place at the town's Assembly Hall Theatre. What happened there, Tony?
Well, Sangeeta, you might think that a place like Tunbridge Wells was safe Tory territory, but the Conservatives have just lost control of the council after 24 years in charge. Now, local issues were just as much in play here as national ones, issues that led to the formation of the Tunbridge Wells Alliance, which has been fielding candidates here since 2019. Today they made gains at the expense of the Conservatives, so did Labour, so did the Liberal Democrats. Now Labour, the Lib Dems and the Tunbridge Wells Alliance will now form a coalition administration. I asked the leader of the Labour group, Hugo Pound, how that will work.
Very good day for Labour, thank you. We've gone from 5 to 7, and undeniably there will now be a coalition of some form with the Alliance and the Liberal Democrats in Tunbridge Wells. First time in 24 years. Very good news.
Will you have any part in that alliance?
Yes. We will work with the other parties, clearly, and we're hoping that it'll be a coalition of equals. In other words, that we all lean in and address the issues that are needed in the borough.
Now, Conservative Tom Dawlings, he held on to his Benenden and Cranbrook seat, which was a prime target for the Tunbridge Wells Alliance, but he will quit as leader of the council to make way for that new administration. There'll be a meeting on Monday to discuss exactly what that will look like.
Tony in Tunbridge Wells, thank you.
And it was bad news rather in adjoining Maidstone for the Conservatives. They lost 2 councillors, enough to tip the Borough Council into no overall control, with the Tories aiming to strike a power-sharing deal with independents. The Conservative group leader in Maidstone blamed the impact of Partygate.
The national picture has cast a shadow on these local elections. Partygate, I think, is the most significant part of that. It's a shame that it really impacts on local issues because, you know, we are so detached from Westminster. It's about fighting for the things that Maidstone people want.
Just 5 years ago, there were no Labour councillors in Worthing. This evening, it is a Labour-run council with the Conservatives defeated.
Well, Malcolm Shaw is in Worthing for us this evening. Malcolm, another true blue council, now red.
Yes, that's right. The two main parties went into this particular contest absolutely neck and neck. They had 17 councillors each. Tonight, Labour has 23, the Tories 12. So Labour has a commanding majority. They say it's down to solid local campaigning since 2017, when Worthing elected its first Labour councillor in 41 years. Now, there's no doubt that national politics has played a part too. This is what the leader of the Labour group had to say about their victory.
As we've come to this particular election, obviously the national picture has also come up on the doorstep, and people have felt appalled by the National Conservative Party and have either said that they will never vote Conservative again and they will stay at home, or that they will actually switch and vote for us locally because they believe in what we're doing locally and that they feel that, you know, dignity and fairness in politics, which is what we want to bring to the town, is really important.
Well, this was a council that Labour was determined to win, to try and show that the region isn't necessarily a sea of blue. They threw everything at it. You may recall that the party leader, Sir Keir Starmer, was canvassing here in Worthing on Bank Holiday Monday. Why did it go so wrong for the Tories? Well, there's no doubt that Worthing is changing demographically. Perhaps the council didn't really keep up with that. One Tory candidate that I spoke to lost his seat by just 14 votes. He described it as a disaster. He said that Partygate was to blame, and he also said that Boris Johnson should go.
OK, for now, Malcolm, thank you.
And now to Crawley and Andy Dickinson. Andy, this has long been a classic Labour Conservative marginal, hasn't it? So who came out on top this afternoon?
Yes, Sangeeta, this was indeed a hotly contested election, an election of thirds for a council that was ostensibly hung before this point, run by Labour, but only because their mayor held the majority vote. And the result? Well, the afternoon was won by Labour by 7 to 5, gaining 2 seats and an overall majority of 18 to 17. Here's what the leaders had to say.
Well, it's midterm blues. It does happen. The national situation has clearly affected our turnout this time, but we've performed better than what the party has nationally. And our vote has held up reasonably well, and we've only lost 1 seat, where in other councils we've lost many more seats.
I'm very happy, and it's not just the number of seats. When you look at what's happened with the popular vote since the last set of elections, there's been enormous movement in Crawley away from the Conservatives and to the Labour Party. It's very clear the population have finally cottoned on to what a crook our Prime Minister is.
Well, Peter Lamb there also announced he would be stepping down from the leadership at the end of May, and if one election wasn't enough, there'll now be a by-election here in 5 weeks' time. But even if the Conservatives won that, Labour would retain their mayor-led majority. So Crawley, certainly it's Labour that the happy party tonight.
Andy, thank you.
OK, well, let's take a look now at some of the other results that have come in for the South East.
The Tories have lost Maidstone, where there is no overall control. There were gains for the Liberal Democrats, Labour and the Greens won a seat.
Meanwhile, Labour have lost Hastings as it goes to no overall control. Hastings was not tipped to be much of a battle, with Labour projected to stay in control, but they've lost 3 seats to the Greens.
In Southend, the first since it became a city and since the death of its MP, Sir David Amess, the council remains under no overall control, with the Tories losing 2 seats.
In Thurrock, the Conservatives have held their majority with 30 seats. Labour lost a seat.
The Tories keep control of Ada, that's despite losing 3 seats. Labour and the Greens both making gains there.
So why have the Tories had such a sticky night of it in Kent and in Sussex? Well, we asked one MP who was first elected in Kent almost 40 years ago.
My guess is that in the south, people are genuinely concerned about the probity of government, about whether we've got a Prime Minister that tells the truth, can be trusted to deliver, not just to deliver, but to tell the truth about what he's delivering. And in the north, I think people may be rather more pragmatic and are looking over their shoulders and saying, well, OK, the economy's in trouble, the cost of living is rising. But what is the Labour plan? There isn't one. We'll stick with the Tories.
And we'll return to the local elections a little later on in the programme. In other news, a Sussex police constable is under criminal investigation in connection with a crash involving an unmarked police car. Arthur Holscher-Ermert was killed on the A259 in Peacehaven on Saturday, ahead of a peaceful protest which is being facilitated by Sussex Police. His brother Carl has called for calm to remember Arthur.
I don't want this to get out of hand in the public eye and, you know, people are there being aggressive towards the police. We need to be there resolute, all together, peacefully.
A second man has been charged with the murder of a father of 3 at a shopping centre in Essex. Michael Ugwa died at Lakeside in Thurrock. He'd been assaulted in the food court last Thursday. Mohammed Khan, who's 22 and from Ilford, and 19-year-old Brandon Luchman Singh from Dagenham have been charged with murder and affray.
More than 750 people have crossed the Channel in small boats since Sunday. This follows 11 days with no reported crossings due to bad weather. At least 7,000 people have arrived on Kent shores this year, more than triple the tally for this time last year.
A series of dawn raids have disrupted crime groups in Sussex, according to police. They took place in Hastings and Eastbourne, with others in London. 18 people suspected of being involved in drug dealing were arrested and Class A drugs seized.
A popular community library in Broadstairs has been vandalised. The box on the Wimpy estate, which is used by locals to swap books, has been left without a door.
People living in Medway are being offered the chance to get their blood pressure checked for free in high streets, shopping centres and healthy living centres. Venues across Medway will be offering the on-the-spot checks throughout the month of May. Around a third of adults in the UK have high blood pressure. Many, though, won't realise.
And for more on today's news right across the South East and the latest local election results, if they were held, please go to our website itv.com/Meridian, and don't forget you can call us, the number's on the screen, you can follow us, that's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
Now, the saying goes, tidy house, tidy mind. Don't believe it personally, but you have been putting off a spring sort out at home where you're not alone, because a lot of other people have as well.
Yes, because most of us have at least one room or cupboard that's so cluttered it's unusable. And experts say it drives many people to despair, as Amrit Birdie will tell us.
Whether it's a jam-packed garage or a messy spare bedroom, decluttering is a permanent job on many of our to-do lists. More than half of us have rooms at home that are full of clutter, leaving them unusable. We asked people in Hove if they struggle to address the mess at home.
Oh, no, I wouldn't hang on to stuff that I don't need. That, you know, I've probably got clothes that shouldn't be in there and aren't going to be worn again.
No, we haven't got any. I'm quite good at that. Don't like clutter, but my mum does.
I think I've got like a shed with a bike in it, cupboards full of old clutter, old clothing that I don't want to throw away. Yeah, it's natural to collect, isn't it?
One woman who has recently combated her clutter is Michelle Parr. She felt overwhelmed by an unusable spare bedroom after moving house.
I basically had far too much stuff for my house, and instead of getting rid before I moved, I just shoved it into rooms, boxes in garages, in the attic, everywhere. And although, yes, we'd set up a nice home, there were certain rooms that were just like the room of doom. You couldn't go in, you were ashamed to go in, and then when guests wanted to come, it was embarrassing. I've definitely noticed a difference in my well-being since having a declutter in the house. We've done this room, we've also done wardrobes, and it's things I feel more confident, I'm more house proud.
Professional organisers say feeling overwhelmed by mess is a common problem, but it shouldn't get in the way of progress.
People look at their homes and their surroundings and they go, oh my gosh, there is so much to do here. If you're feeling that sense of overwhelm and struggle to know where to start or what to start with, just start small. Start small. Just focus on one very small area that's achievable, that's manageable within a time frame, and you do have to sort of set time frames.
Dilly Carter has published a book about decluttering. She says this time of year is perfect for a sort out.
Spring is such a great time to declutter. You know, it's a time when we can open the windows, we can clear those windowsills, let the air in, let the light in. We can get those wardrobes empty, give them a good clean, and, you know, let the air circulate through our house. So it's a great time to get everything out, get it out onto the lawn if you want, get it out into the back of the house, the front of the house, have a good sort out, and then, you know, declutter the items that you don't want to use.
If you've got sorting out to do, there may be no better time than the present to conquer your clutter. Amrit Birdie, ITV News.
That's the weekend sorted. Time for the sport now with Sarah. Sarah, at the end of the road for one of our managers.
That's right, yes, Sangeeta. We start with some news from Crawley Town, who have tonight confirmed they've parted ways with manager John Yems. Yems was suspended last month following allegations of discrimination, which are now the subject of an FA investigation. Co-chairman Preston Johnson says his club and staff are now looking forward to a new era. To the Premier League now, and ahead of his side's clash with Manchester United at the Amex tomorrow night, Brighton boss Graham Potter says he has no definitive answers as to why his team have enjoyed a record-breaking season. The Seagulls set a club record for the most points in a Premier League season, with 3 matches still to play, and more records could be broken. With the club currently in 9th place, this could be their best ever finish in the top flight.
Lots of really good things have happened to us this season, I think. Some really important moments that we've shared with the supporters and provided, particularly away from home, some amazing experiences, which is, as much as we speak about where we are in the league and points and all the rest of it, you know, creating memories for supporters and creating memories on the pitch is what it's all about, really. So in that regard, good, but as always, room to improve.
Southampton, meanwhile, play Brentford. Little separates those teams. They're both on 40 points. Bournemouth sign off on their promotion-winning week at home to Millwall, while Reading, Crawley and Swindon are all away from home. Now to a different sport entirely, and one in which British athletes are thriving. In archery, our region has a new World Cup winner. Bryony Pittman from Shoreham picked up 3 medals in one day in what was this country's best ever performance at the competition. Joe Caution has been to meet her.
Small businesses and local teams, the heart of our communities. eBay sponsors ITV Regional Sport Reports.
Bryony Pittman. Bryony Pittman.
It'll be hard to forget the name Bryony Pittman after her stunning performances for Great Britain at the first stage of the Archery World Cup in Turkey. The 25-year-old is now the world number 5 after bringing home 2 golds and a silver to Shoreham.
Did those 3 medals make your luggage too heavy on the way back at the check-in desk?
I actually kept them in my hand luggage. Yeah, I wasn't going to let them out of my sight, so yeah.
That final arrow, you could see the relief on your face once it was all over. Just talk me through that, what that was like.
I think it was a combination of, like, obviously I'd been competing all day, I'd been in 3 finals, so it was the final release of all of that energy and emotion that I'd been trying to hold in and keep myself composed. But also it was like I was just so happy that, like, I'd finally gone out there, shown the world what I can do and proved myself on one of the biggest stages. So it just meant the absolute world, and it was, I think I just had a lot of emotion to get rid of.
Bryony took up the sport aged 11, but archery quite literally runs through her veins. Her dad was part of the team that won the World Field Championships in 1998. And ever since, she shot here at Worthing Archery Club, up to 400 arrows a day, come rain or shine.
As a club, we are immensely proud of Bryony, and there's nothing better than being able to say, and over there, folks, this is the sort of level you can aspire to, because there's an Olympic athlete. And what's also great is willing to help out anybody, whether they're the newest beginner or a senior archer who's been here a long time, but who just wants that little bit of help from a real expert to improve.
Bryony's victory secured her a spot at the World Cup finals in Mexico later this year, where her sights are firmly set on more gold rings to win more gold medals. Joe Caution, ITV News, Worthing.
Brilliant. High hopes for that World Cup in October.
Too right, Sarah, thank you.
Now let's return to our top story, the local elections, of course. Our reporter Kit Bradshaw still in Downing Street for us this evening. Kit, of course, not every council area had elections yesterday. Results still, of course, coming in.
Yes, that's right. Not every council area in our region was elected, did have elections yesterday, and some of them were only electing a third of councillors, as we've been hearing, which makes those swings between the parties all the harder. That didn't stop some Conservative losses that some within the party are blaming on traditional Tory voters staying at home. We'll get more results from Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland over the next 24 hours.
And Kit, we heard the Prime Minister, of course, Boris Johnson, describing the results as mixed. We know there are national issues at play as well. Will his party stand by him, do you think?
Well, I don't think we'll be seeing any removal vans on this famous street anytime soon. Number of factors at play. Some within the Conservative Party were expecting more council losses than the seat losses we've seen to date. Some of his critics are calling for him to go today, but others think the war in Ukraine means that now is not the time for that. Added to that, we had today Durham police saying they are investigating Sir Keir Starmer over an alleged breach of coronavirus rules last year. He denies any wrongdoing. But all these factors combine to give the Prime Minister a bit of breathing room. Having said that, some Tory MPs in our region, in seats they thought were safe, may be looking at the changing colour of the council rosettes on their council today and wondering what it means for their job come the next general election.
OK, Kit, for the time being, thank you very much. Give yourself a lie down. Thank you.
And our local election analysis continues here on the ITV News After Us with a preview of what's coming up. Here's Charlene White.
Local election results are still coming in. We'll have the latest on what's happening where you are. Labour made gains in historically safe Conservative London boroughs, but have they done well enough outside of the capital? We'll have all the details. Well, any joy for the Labour leader was dampened as Durham police say they will investigate Keir Starmer over potential lockdown breaches. And Prince Andrew and Prince Harry are not invited. The Queen reveals she will be on the balcony for her Platinum Jubilee, but only the working royals will be alongside her. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Thanks, Charlene. Holly's with us now. And Holly, from a political race to a running race, tell us more.
Well, that's right, because 68 years ago today, Roger Bannister attempted the iconic 4-minute mile, and he was very clear on what he needed weather-wise. He needed warm weather and he needed an absence of wind. Take a look at this pressure chart, because this one on the right is the forecast from the day. Well, an analysis of the pressure. You've got a depression in the North Sea. It shows cold weather, it shows windy weather, it shows showery weather, completely unideal. So it was thought that the attempt might not go ahead. Nonetheless, they headed down to the track. Roger himself said the winds looked as if it could take a second a lap off the mile, so he'd effectively have to run a 3-minute 56-second mile on a fine day to break the record. Anyway, they headed down there to Oxford University, which is where they were doing the attempt, lined up on the starting line. There was a little bit of a lull in the wind, and the rest, as they say, is history. They went ahead with it, and of course, Roger Bannister broke that record. But I just thought it could have been very, very different looking at that forecast.
And one of the great sporting stories as well. Now, we've all been, brilliant. Now, we've been all trying to do our forecasting today politically. Weather-wise, a slight change?
Yeah, so I know I did tell you yesterday tomorrow was looking pretty good. Many of us now seeing some showers developing, so I am sorry about that. The further east you are, the more showers you'll tend to see. And then, while I'm at it, next week I talked about some fine weather. Again, midweek it looks like some more showers on the way. Hopefully something a bit more summer-like towards the end of the week, but we'll keep a watch on it. So
you're just majorly backtracking?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I like to tell you guys the truth. Sunday should be nice.
Okay, well, that's something. Small mercies. Right, let's see how the weekend is going to shape up then with the full forecast, of course. Here's Holly.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
It's a lovely bright day today, but there are some changes afoot. Thickening cloud into tonight, bringing some showery outbreaks of rain and then showers in the forecast for tomorrow as well. That's a bit of a change compared to the way the forecast looked yesterday. Into Sunday, though, a more straightforward picture, drier and brighter. So this is the weather front responsible, and this occlusion is what's hanging back and generating those showers for tomorrow before it eventually peters out and we see this high pressure taking charge for Sunday. Out there at the moment then, well, clouds starting to thicken, and that's ahead of some outbreaks of rain. Not everyone will catch that rain, and of course we could do with it at the moment for the gardens. Some clear spells to be had, but a mild night, 11, 12 degrees as we start tomorrow morning. So we head into tomorrow, and I'm afraid it does look rather cloudy. You might see some bright spells coming through, but they may be in fairly short supply. And as you can see, we've got a number of showers pushing through. You'll get some drier slots as well, but those showers perhaps never too far away. And temperatures will be that bit lower than the values we saw today, of course, as well. Maybe a little bit of low cloud or mistiness just skirting into parts of the coast there as well. Taking a look at our times of high water, we've got Hastings at 2:39 and again at 3:06 as we head into the afternoon. So for the outlook, yes, some showers I think around for tomorrow. Sunday is more straightforward, hopefully drier and brighter, a decent look to things, very much the best day of the weekend. Then those temperatures rise a little into the beginning of next week, but it does look as if things could turn a bit more changeable and showery as we head towards midweek. For a time, have a good weekend.
Valent sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Now, in just a moment, the ITV Evening News, of course, continues with Charlene White. Much more on the local election results as well as the rest of the day's national and international news.
And don't forget, all of our local results can be found on our website, itv.com/Meridian. For now, though, from the team here, thank you for watching. Have a brilliant weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.